There are a number of people who've had questions about the purchase order and how we work with it. So I'd like to answer a few of those questions here in case somebody has those questions or want to refer back to it. When you receive the link to the PO, you won't be able to edit anything on the PO. Instead, you need to go to File and make a copy. And this gives you your own copy that you can go ahead and do whatever you want with. So I'm going to say Ed's PO. You can name it whatever you'd like. It also asks you where you would like to put this document in your Google Drive folder. Now, if you don't have folders set up and everything else, that's okay. I'll show you a way we can arrange that shortly. I'll just say okay here. And notice I have two tabs now. One is the original blank PO. The other is the one I just renamed to be Ed PO or Ed's PO. I can change that however I want. To click inside here, I can add an apostrophe S if I wish. So you can always change the name by just clicking on it up here. There's no need to save or anything else. It saves every few seconds, every time a change is made. Now this is a spreadsheet. Even though it doesn't look like a spreadsheet, it's because I've turned all the cells off. The name field over here is something you'll have to just type in. You can double click inside any field and type. And if you want to go to another field, you can click off rather into another field, or you can click off on a side margin or something like that. You can hit tab to move around a document, or you can hit return as well. I think return just adds other lines though. On the school field, you just choose which school you're doing the purchase order for, and then you just type in your email down here. Same for all these other fields. You just click in them and start typing, and it should work fine for you. Now, there is an issue here with the number of fields. Some people said they wanted more fields. I'll show you that in a moment. But I want to jump right to printing. Many people are trying to print, and they're like, how do I get this to show up on the same page? When we look at my form here, we'll see that this form runs over onto the second page. And the important thing is if you're using Chrome, which you should probably use Chrome for all these features, on the right-hand side, you have some information here, particularly the scale, which is important. If I did this at its normal 100%, you can see that this looks really gross. Okay, this is a ridiculous way to print. It's not going to work very well at all. But if I change that scale to fit the width, boy, it's pretty close. It does run over onto the next page. And in something like this, where it only runs over a little bit, I probably would say, why don't we fit that to the page instead? What it's going to do is it's going to shrink all the fonts and everything down just a little bit to squeeze that all on one page, and that will print fine. Now we're going to come back to this page in a minute after we add some more lines, and you can see that it clearly needs to be on 2 pages, in which case we're not going to choose fit to page. The fit to page option again is simply when you have a few lines overflowing and you want to make sure that it all fits on one, you can come over here to this scale and just choose fit to page. Now I'm going to cancel this so we can go back in and mess around with the file a little bit more. On a spreadsheet, if you want to add more rows, there are some numbers along the left-hand side, and you can just click on one of them if you wish, and you can right-click. Now, on a Mac, it might be hard to remember how to right-click on there, but if you hold Control on your keyboard and you click with your touchpad, you'll get a menu. And that menu will allow you to add extra rows above or below. Notice it's only one row right now because I have one row selected. When I add that row below, it looks horrible. It's like, what just happened? Did I just mess everything up? Don't panic. It's okay. All you have to do is highlight the row above it. I'm just clicking and dragging across the row above it. And when I let go, I should have a blue box that covers this entire row. And that was because I clicked at the starting cell and I dragged all the way across and then let go of my mouse. Then you have this little blue box down here. I can drag that blue box down and it copies not only the formulas, but the formats all the way down. This only works if you choose like somewhere in the middle to add your rows. If you choose at the very top, I'll just demonstrate this really quickly. If I insert a row above, I can't really drag anything down from here. It's a little different because I'd have to highlight the formulas and everything and drag this little box up. It still works. All the formats, all the formulas, everything else will still go up as it will go down. The key is make sure you highlight a row that has everything the way it should be, and then drag that little blue box in the corner. Your cursor will change to a plus. Drag that over anything you've added. So I've added a couple. I want to show you how you can add multiple lines. Let's say I click on this 31 and I drag down to like 36. I've got a bunch of lines here added, and I want to add this many lines to my document. I'm going to highlight all of them by clicking and dragging on the numbers, and then I right click, and then I go to insert above or below. It doesn't really matter which one you do. And then we have that same situation when we have all these rows that are badly formatted. I highlight a row above it and just drag down, and everything's all hunky-dory. Now down here at the bottom, this formula for the subtotal still should encompass all the new cells we have. Like this bottom one, 47 is the last row. 28 should be the first row. Oh, see that one I did where I added up? See how it didn't change the formula to the 27? That's again why I do not add up on that first row at the top, because that can mess things up completely. Now I'm going to delete this row because I see that's not even included. Now I come down here, it does say 27, which is the 27th row, to the 47th row. 47th row, we're all set. So the total's fine now. The shipping cost, I already have a formula in there. It's a little more complex, but it will figure out based on the central office needs. Now, if I go to print this, we should obviously be on the second page now. And that's not enough for me to want to try to squish it in. Although, you know what, that's less than a quarter page. I would look at it and see if it's too small to read or not. In this case, depending on my text size and font size, that might be doable. But instead, I'm just going to say fit to width. And when I go to print this, it will print on 2 different pages, just like this. So we have naming it, making sure it's your copy. We have choosing your school, and we have printing, so you can print it to a page or fit to width. And we also have adding new rows by simply inserting the row, highlighting the row above it, and then dragging that blue box down so all the formulas and all of the formats stay the same. I hope that helps. Now remember, you don't have to save this at all. If you have to print it, you just hit the print and you're good to go. Now, I did mention about where to save things and how to make a folder. Up at the very top by the name, it has a move button. And when you click move, you should see your whole drive. Now, my drive has a lot of stuff in it. And if I look through here, I don't have a PO folder. So I want to make a new folder. Down in the bottom corner, there's a new folder for you to name. You can name this PO stuff or whatever you want. I can hit the little checkbox. And now I can say move this item here. And when I do that, it's automatically going to move it to that folder in my drive. By doing this, you're not going to sit there and dig through your drive for 600 years trying to find something. You just go to that folder and all your PO stuff should be there. Hopefully all this helps. If you have any further questions, please toss me an email. I appreciate everybody's patience waiting for me to get back to your answers. And hopefully this PO form works well for you. Have a good day.